Eventually, Adam and Eve settled into life as they could have it and started a family. Cain came first, followed by Abel. They both came from the same parents, were raised in the same environment, but they grew up into different people. Cain loved working the lands, and Abel enjoyed working with animals. They both worked hard and brought in good harvests. Cain decided he was going to do God a favor and give him something out of the abundance that he gained from the farm. He took this and that from here and there, threw them together, and presented it to God. Abel, on the other hand, figured he couldn't have made all the profit he did without God, so he decided to go the extra mile. He wasn't going to do God a favor. Rather, he would do himself a favor by taking out the best of his flock and offering them to God, who had been so good to him. It's wrong attitude to think we are doing God or others a favor by giving to them, especially if they did not ask of us. Truth is, every time we open our hearts and our hands to give, we are doing ourselves the favor because we are positioning ourselves for increase. The ones receiving from us are doing us the favor because if there is no receiving, our giving is incomplete. There is no gift if there is no receiver. The outlet, which is the receiver, makes the object a gift and qualifies the giver for reward. Otherwise, the giver is stuck with what they have, which is no gift until it has been given. I hope you never look down again on whoever is receiving your gifts, because without them, what you have is stuff, not gift. And without their receiving, you are stuck with what you have. A willing receiver and a cheerful giver turn the seed of a simple gift into a bountiful harvest. Anyway, from his corner with his this and that gifts here and there, Cain looked across and saw that Abel was giving only the best to God. He was obviously not understanding why someone would work so hard and instead of rewarding their own hard work with the best of their produce and profits, they choose rather to give them away. What would you do if you noticed your sibling or friend was giving out their best at the time you were giving out what you really didn't need or care for? I would be challenged. I would think they are amazing, selfless, generous, and very thoughtful. Because it takes putting some thought into your gifts to decide not to make an offering a discarding in disguise, which is what many of us do. We don't give it if we like it. We don't give it if we need it. Even if we don't like it now, maybe we'll like it tomorrow, so let's save that. Even if we don't need it right away, we may need it in a couple of years, so keep. But if we don't like it at all and we don't want it around, sure, throw that in the offering basket. Get your journal. Look back. What kind of gifts have you been giving out in the past, both to God and to others? The best of you? The most of your time? The first of your earnings? Or the leftovers of whatever comes to hand? What's your attitude whenever you are giving? Do you feel better than the receiver? Empowered because you have the advantage? Privileged to do them a favor? Or grateful for the opportunity to have something that can be of use to another? Thankful that they are willing to receive from you? It's okay if you are able to capture your thoughts in your journal. how you bequeath your gifts and how giving makes you feel. It's okay also if you're not able to tell right now. Maybe you could be a little more observant of the state of your heart the next time you are giving. Take time to note how you give and how it feels for you. All of these are your choices, and it's okay if the one you are giving to is willing to receive. But if you would step back just a little and put more thought into your gift, how will that change? Would you still give the same things in the same way? Will there be a change both in what you give and in how you give? A change in how you see and treat the receiver. I remember in my undergrad days, I was already disowned by my family because of my faith, and I was getting ready to go back to school. Not sure how that term will pan out for me. A family friend gave me an envelope with money in it, and that was the only money I had to go back to school with. I remember sitting in church that evening and wondering how the term would go. That envelope in my purse was all I had. I hadn't even opened it to see how much was in it. All I knew was that I was going to need all that God would give to survive the semester. At that point, the envelope of money was all I had, so I decided to make it a seed. It's a principle I have lived by all my life. I would rather sow my last as a seed and live in hope of harvest than to eat it as bread and live wondering where my next meal will come from. That evening, I took that envelope and dropped it in the offering basket. That night, I gave all I had for all God could give to take care of me that term. That semester turned out the best of terms for me. God moved in the weirdest of ways to use random people, including my family, to provide for me. I never really told anyone in school what I was going through. The few who heard anything probably heard through friends who were aware of what was going on. Mostly those friends heard from my family because I don't recall sitting down to discuss it with anyone, even at the toughest moments of that journey. I never asked anyone for help because all my hope was in God, and I totally believed Psalm 27 verse 10, which said, "When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me." From the first day to the last day of that term, God took care of my every need. So much so that I was able to continue to help others as I used to. And they had no idea that this girl was living totally by faith. It was always an honor to recognize the need before they asked and be able to give out of the little I had. Sometimes I split what I had in half, and sometimes I gave it all. And funny enough, they had no idea that what I gave cost way more than the market value of the money or item. God made it easier for me to continue to give because it was always on time. And even when it seemed I was out, it was okay. I learned to be okay when I had, and when I didn't have, I concluded that God takes care of me so I could take care of others. Take a moment to reevaluate what you give and how you give, because it does matter to God and to those we give. I understand the blessings of giving, and it has changed my life in more ways than I can ever count. I don't mean giving because you were compelled to or for selfish motives. Every time we give the best from our heart to God or to anyone, God recognizes it like he recognized Abel's offerings. God appreciates it, and God rewards in ways we cannot even begin to imagine. Take some time and see how you can ensure that your motive, your attitude, and your gifts are pleasing to God. If you notice anything not so good about any of those, that's something to work on, not something to get discouraged about. We are all work in progress. Know the areas for improvement and determine how you intend to make it better. Don't forget, we are not living life however it comes anymore. We are choosing to be intentional in the way we walk with God and with others. Be intentional, therefore, toward improving your giving. May we learn to give the right gifts for the right reasons. May we give the best and not the least, not just to God, but to whoever we have to, every time we have to. And may the blessings of giving fill every area of need in our lives. Amen. Check out the links and the scriptures below for additional help. Feel free to share your thoughts and comments in the answers. Be inspired. You are a star, and it is your time to shine. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with family and friends. Jump in and join me in the next video, still on this series of New Beginning, as we investigate: is my temper crying for help?